Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the gym. It is your guy, Bulon J. Up next, 2025 Baltimore Ravens mock draft 1.0. Let's talk. So, it is mock draft season, especially with the combine starting tomorrow. So, I wanted to jump in here, man, and do my pre combine mock draft, a draft that I have been trying to get to for some weeks, just not have had the time. And so, let's just jump right into it. So, my goal for the mock draft, and it's actually something I think the Baltimore Ravens should also lean into, is trading back with that number 27th pick. As I've been messing around with different simulators, all of your top guys, top edge rushers, top corners, top safeties are already off the board by the time the Baltimore Ravens pick at 27. And I do not see the Baltimore Ravens taking a wide receiver in the first round, although some good talent will be on the board. And so I wanted to get 4 picks in the first 3 rounds so that we can build depth and impact rotational talent almost immediately. So I was able to do that. I traded back in the first round with the Kansas City Chiefs, picking up a next year 3rd round pick. I traded back in the 2nd round with the Detroit Lions and ended up with pick 64 and picked up some other draft capital. So our first pick, best player on the board at possibly a position of need, was edge rusher Nick Scourton. And Scourton is a big-bodied edge rusher, 6'4", 280 pounds. A guy who plays with heavy hands, a guy who can set the edge, although he has some struggle setting the edge sometimes. But he is a well-developed edge rusher. He is a guy who has a host of moves, whether he's trying to get the advantage going inside or whether he's trying to gain an advantage going outside. He has every kind of technique, every kind of ability with his pass rush ability that you could ask. Now, he doesn't play with a lot of speed. It's mostly power and strength. But anybody that can get to the quarterback is what we want at that edge rush position. He's a different rusher than an Adafe and even a Tavius Robinson. They're both power rushers who are still trying to learn to develop pass rush techniques, where Scourton is a well-developed power rusher, but he's also has a whole host of moves. You will notice some of that. He's an edge rusher that sometimes in college required a double team because he was such a hard edge rush to handle. So I think that with him being on the board at pick 31 or just late in that first round, I think that he could be a solid option for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he, again, is not the best pass rusher in this draft class, but he definitely ranks among the top 7. So if he falls and we are able to get some extra draft capital and take him, I think we would have done well in the first round. So let me know what you think about Nick Scourton. When we transition to the 2nd round with pick 64, I took cornerback Azariah Thomas out of Florida State University. He's a bigger cornerback. He's about 6'1", 190 plus pounds. He's fluid as an athlete. Matter of fact, he's an elite level athlete, starring in both basketball and football in high school. He also was a long jump champion, so he has elite explosiveness and athleticism. He can play inside and outside, but he excels in outside coverage. A guy with good speed and a guy that does not give up a lot of yards. In fact, I think in the 2023 season, he did not even give up a single touchdown. So I think that if the Baltimore Ravens are still trying to upgrade their cornerback room, I think Azariah Thomas could absolutely be a great addition to this Baltimore Ravens secondary, and he absolutely has the potential to do just as Nate Wiggins did from last season, develop over the first several weeks and be a starter coming down the stretch, contributing in a big way, adding some depth and some young talent to that secondary. When we move to a 2nd pick in the 2nd round, because of the trades we made, I took offensive tackle Emory Jones. Now, Emory Jones has a grade between late 2nd and early 3rd. I think if he's on the board, because we have not been able to get an offensive tackle yet, I think he's a guy that the Baltimore Ravens should consider. He's a big offensive tackle, 6'6", 315 plus pounds. And I think he's a guy that definitely is worth a look. He plays with power. He does have some great athleticism. He has good feet. And depending on what they do with Ronnie Stanley, he is a guy who can slot in at left guard almost immediately until he's ready to take over for Ronnie Stanley long term. Emory Jones has good strength. Again, plays with good balance. And the only thing is, one of the weaknesses that he may have is that sometimes he can get beat with speed. But I think, a off season where he develops in NFL locker rooms, NFL meal plan, NFL training, NFL coaching, I think he could definitely be a day one impact player for the Baltimore Ravens. So let me know what you think about both our second round picks, Azariah Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State, and Emory Jones, offensive tackle out of Alabama, a guy who can play both left and right tackle and plug in those guard positions. And so the fourth pick that we were able to accumulate is Jaden Higgins, a wide receiver who I absolutely love for the Baltimore Ravens. He's, again, my favorite wide receiver out of all of the wide receivers, only because he's gone under the radar for the most part. I think his combine performance absolutely has the potential to elevate him above some of the other wide receivers in this draft class. I think he's a guy who could perform so well that he ends up at the bottom of the second round or the top of the third. And I think if the Baltimore Ravens do have an opportunity to get Jaden Higgins, I think they absolutely should. Higgins is a wide receiver who would give the Baltimore Ravens that big-bodied wide receiver threat, 6'4", 217 plus pounds. And he's just a guy that makes plays, super productive in college, 86 catches this past season, over 1,100 yards. I think he had 7+ touchdowns. And, he can make the intermediate catch, the deep catch, the contested catch, the catch on the boundary, and be a red zone threat. And he has good speed for a guy his size. And so when you look at his tape, you see a guy who can make every catch, make all the plays that you need him to make. And I think he too could be a day one impact player. This is the reason why I wanted to trade back, get that extra day two pick so that we can build immediate rotational depth. And so you guys let me know what you think about all of these picks. Do you like, love, or hate these players? I took the best players on the board. I didn't try and track down certain players. I just went with whatever was available in the simulator and took those guys. So let me know what you guys want me to know about this first mock draft. I'm your guy, Boulanger. This is the GM.